You have got to be shitting me. We're going to talk about World of Warcraft in this video. And Blizzard. And too little, too late. I don't know. There's been a bunch of WoW news today. And a bunch of WoW news to the point that I wanted to talk about it. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it here. First off, though, I want to let you guys know, if you watched my previous video where I talked about leaving this channel, starting a new channel, none of that has changed. I'm going to keep making content on this channel until I'm ready to transition and launch the new channel, which I've been working on as we go. And I've got more news about that in a different video. But I am going to have a debut stream for that channel planned right now for September 5th. So stay tuned for news about that if you want to follow me over to the new channel and check out content there, where we're going to be doing stuff like this, talking about news. So, man, let's get into it. So if you have, there's no way, you have to have been following what's been going on with Activision Blizzard, right? They are in the midst of a lawsuit with the state of California for a lot of allegations of sexual misconduct and all sorts of just gross, disturbing corruption within their company. Specifically, Blizzard, like Blizzard and the WoW team. There's some other, teams and stuff in Blizzard's, but there's been a big emphasis on the WoW team itself actually being the root cause of a lot of these problems. Like I said, it's not exclusive to the WoW team, but that's where a lot of focus has been. Now, if you've been keeping up with WoW and everything else as well, you know that Shadowlands has basically been a failure. There are still people that like it and play it and enjoy it, and that's totally fine. But overall, if you look at the earnings reports that Blizzard had recently and just the general trends in viewership and etc., WoW has not been doing very well since the release of Shadowlands. Shadowlands itself was the fastest PC selling game of all time for a short period. And, obviously launch was a big deal, but active players and subscribers quickly fell off. From there was a huge content drought between the launch of Shadowlands and the launch of 9.1. And so just in general, WoW's not been in a great spot. There's been a mass exodus from WoW to other MMOs, most notably Final Fantasy XIV, to the point that game's now having incredible server issues and login queue issues. But yeah, hopefully that gets you kind of caught up to date, right? Shadowlands, bad. Blizzard, also bad. And so, yeah, that they keep mishandling that whole situation with the lawsuit with the state of California and stuff like crazy. So in my head, I just picture Blizzard as a ship that is on fire and sinking and going down very fast, and everyone over there is scrambling and panicking. You've got the, CEOs and C-level executives that are out there basically trying to save the company from this lawsuit. Then you've got, the employees themselves that are out there trying to deal with all the ramifications of the lawsuit, while also dealing with the fact that aside, people haven't been enjoying the game or their game decisions, and they need to figure stuff out. Subs are going down rapidly, and basically, they are throwing all the Hail Mary passes that they possibly can in order to try and bring back players, keep people from leaving. And I want to talk about that today. We're going to look at the 9.1.5 content update preview and the Shadowlands developer update as well. And the reason I want to talk about this is because, as you know, I have not been enjoying World of Warcraft at all. I said one of the very few things that would get me back into playing World of Warcraft would be the ability to play Torghast as leveling content. But that was before all this stuff went down with Blizzard. And now, as far as Blizzard is concerned as a company, I just don't really feel like I'm on board with them as a company, and can't be on board with them as a company until they actually make changes that benefit their employees and protect them from this kind of stupid shit happening again. So there's a conflict there because, Diablo 2 Remastered or Resurrected seems kind of cool. Diablo 4, I'm still looking forward to that. Overwatch 2, still looking forward to that. But at the same time, I'm like, Not looking forward to that as much if Blizzard can't get their shit together. And even if they get their shit together, I still want to see proof that it stays together for longer than 3 months or 6 months as well. So, I wanted to talk about these changes for World of Warcraft because there's just so many levels to this. I think, one, it's going to be, a lot of people are going to be excited about these changes, but I also think they're too little too late. It just shows again that the developers don't fucking listen to their customers. And then it just gets to the point where it feels like our lack of interest and unhappiness forces their hand into doing the things that we told them from the get-go that they should have done. So anyway, I'm going to get off my soapbox and my high horse here, and we're going to switch over to good old desktop view here. And we're going to check out these articles here. All right, so they just recently came out with the 9.1.5 content update preview. So we're going to take a look at this. With the arrival of the 9.1.5 PTR, we wanted to share more information on the variety of new features, blah, blah, blah. Not all of these features will be available immediately within the PTR because we haven't actually worked at them, and this is actually just a panic move. So we're going to basically promise you everything that you possibly have wanted up until this point in order to keep you from unsubbing to the game like everyone else. That's not what that says, but that's what that means. Okay, Covenant updates. Players who reach max renown on their Covenant can now freely switch among any of the 4 Covenants without cooldown. Oh, man. What? Or restriction. What? Kind of like, I don't know, like 80, 90% of the player base was asking for in the fucking beta. Cosmetic rewards, including pets and mounts that have been earned from that Covenant, will thereafter be available regardless of your membership in a different one. Covenant switching and use of cosmetic rewards will also apply to any alternate characters once the renown threshold is reached on one character. Holy shit! There's going to be so much cynicism and sarcasm. If you can't handle this overwhelming negativity, it's going to be here the entire video. I promise you, because this is the kind of shit that pisses people like myself off, where they're given the feedback, and when did Shadowlands come out? Like September, October, November? I think it came out November, right? So it's been almost a fucking year, and we've been telling them about this kind of shit for at least 6 months before then, and it's taken them this long, over a year, to listen to the community. Anyway, conduit energy is being removed. What? Conduits are freely swappable without any restrictions. Wow, why'd you do it in the first damn place? Completing a Covenant campaign on one character will allow alternate characters the ability to skip that same Covenant campaign, earning the renown and a third soulbind unlock immediately without needing to replay the full narrative arc. Whoa, that's amazing. Okay, so, these are actually exciting updates. I'm just incredibly cynical about them. And I want to know, why did it take a lawsuit and the complete dumpster firing of your entire company for you to do stuff like this instead of listening to the player base during the alpha and the beta, where the point is to get feedback from the player base? There's new character customizations coming for Nightborne and Lightforged Draenei. That's all well and good. I don't really care about that. Legion time walking, that's fine. The Maw introduction is skippable. Why wasn't it skippable, right from the beginning, like it has been in other expansions? Why? It just feels like this was a dick move. And now they're like, oh, that's something everybody's asking for. Give it to them so that they don't leave. You can now solo queue for island expeditions. There's talent and ability improvements. Look at this vague shit. In 9.1.5, we are working on additional updates to a variety of class talents and class abilities, including conduits, rune carving, and Covenant class ability tuning. Hey, that thing that you're hoping that we do that involves your talent, your conduit, your rune carving, or covenant, we might do it, but we can't specify because we haven't actually really started on this. We don't really know what we're doing. We just want to promise you that things are going to change. Allied race unlocks. So if there were allied races that had a dungeon requirement, you no longer need to complete the dungeon and the associated quest to gain access to these races. You can skip it instead. They're going to add travel points to the Maw. They're going to add remote anima turn-ins in Korthia, which I haven't played any of that content, so no comment there. Transmog Linking. You can show off your complete Transmog outfit to chat or online by sharing a link to it from the dressing room. So that's neat, I guess. We're going to skip this and come back to it. PvP gear power adjustments. Okay, lower item level PvP gear will now scale to a higher item level in PvP. Cool. Rune carving recipes. The drop rates will be increased to 100% drop rate in any dungeon difficulty. So now you can find your recipe 100%. And they're adding legacy loot rules to BFA so that you will get the number of items that would drop randomly for a 5-player dungeon party or 20-player raid when you go through that content. Now let's go back up here because this is what made me want to make the video. Alt leveling improvements. A variety of improvements will be introduced in support of a smoother experience leveling alternate characters through Shadowlands, such as an additional rank of heirloom upgrades. Gold up, okay. They kind of made heirloom shitty anyway, so I don't understand what the point of that is. And improvements to Threads of Fate, such as the addition of Torghast as an option. And renown gains for completing bonus objectives, such as the addition of Torghast as an option. So here it is. What I have wanted for the duration of Shadowlands, the thing that could have brought me back to the game, the thing that could have made me play and level alts, Torghast as a leveling option in Threads of Fate. All it took was a sexual harassment, lawsuit, months of content drought, a mass exodus of players to other MMOs like Final Fantasy XIV, New World, Elder Scrolls Online, etc. And, now the only issue is, do I really want to give my money to this company that has for years and years just been a cesspool of sexual harassment and just employee abuse and is now trying to sweep it under the rug and basically just offer whatever platitudes they can to their employees and their customers to try to be like, see, we're doing the right thing. See, we're doing everything you wanted. We come back. I don't know. This is kind of a dilemma to me, honestly. There was the Blitzchung incident with Blizzard a while back, and that didn't get me to disavow the company and not want anything to do with the company at the time, because I kind of saw the business reasons for them doing that, and I understood it, and it sucked. And I'm not going to say that what they did was the right thing, but I am going to say that it seemed far removed from me and the things that I cared about, and so it didn't stop me from playing the games and giving Blizzard my money. And I had the same thing there, like, hey, that's a corporate response from Blizzard, and that doesn't mean that the people that are making the game support that. As a matter of fact, people that make the game came out and protest against the actions of Blizzard. This is a similar situation where, at this point, corporate Blizzard is, in my opinion, not making the right moves. And this sort of an update here seems a lot like damage control. It seems a lot like reaching. It seems a lot like a Hail Mary pass, throw shit at the wall and see what sticks sort of method. But I mean, some of the stuff here is going to stick, right? Different stuff's going to stick for different people. And for me, Threads of Fate, getting the Torghast option is huge. I mean, it's huge. Like, if this was in, I'd boot up the game right now. We'd do a live stream. Without this other stuff going on. So at the end of the day, I don't know what the right thing to do is. And I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about that. Is it okay to come back and play the game, or to play one of Blizzard's new upcoming games like Diablo 4 or Overwatch 2 in light of everything that's going on at the company, because that there's still a core of good people there that want to create content and, want to make a living? I mean, I know how it is. I know how it is to be stuck at a job, and, it's easy to say, well, if you don't like it, leave. It's really easy to say that, but I mean, if you've been in a situation where that's not really a viable option, or it's a very, very, it's very much a last resort option. Like, I literally can't take this anymore, I'm going to leave, as opposed to hey, I can hang in here and try to fight for, what I want to see happen in this company, or fight for, what I want for myself in the company. And, things might be tough or hard, but, I think we can press through because there's a light at the other side of this tunnel. It's not always so black and white as if you don't like it, just quit. Sure, there's probably people there that don't care. There's probably people there that feel like they don't have the courage or the ability to quit, even though it's always a choice. But at the same time, there's got to be people that work there that think that their job, their coworkers, their product, everything is worth staying to fight for, to make it through on the other side and come out with a better company that treats them better, so that they can focus on making a good game, making good content. So I don't know. I don't know what the situation is here. I don't know what the right thing to do is either. So we got another thing to look at here. Shadowlands developer update. So this is where they give us some of the background here. So they wanted to talk about significant changes to the Shadowlands Covenant systems in particular. All right, so we talked about these. Once you've reached a high renown threshold, you can freely switch. Conduit energy is being removed, and then you'll be able to skip a campaign if you've already completed it, right? So let's read what they have to say. While we hope many players will be pleased at the increased accessibility and freedom for experimentation these changes will permit, we know that you might be wondering why we didn't make adjustments like these sooner. After all, a large portion of the community has been vocal about wanting to see changes along these lines since mid-2020, when Shadowlands was still in beta. When it comes to the limitations on Covenant switching, millions of players experience Shadowlands for the first time through the lens of their Covenant choice, and that would not have been possible had the choice carried less weight from the outset. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. I mean, I get what he's saying, like, from the perspective of, like, you have to choose a Covenant, like, I have to choose one, like, but at the end of the day, it came down to a gameplay thing. Like, I don't accept that as a reason. Nevertheless, after the conclusion of the Chains of Domination campaign, the Covenants are united against the Jailer, and revisiting player feedback in that context has led us to reevaluate our approach. Fuck you, dude. You're so full of shit. In terms of the day-to-day player experience, the advantages of a rigid division between Covenants have diminished since Shadowlands launched. No, they're the exact same. While the downsides, feeling disadvantaged in certain types of content or having to choose between a mechanical advantage and aesthetics, have only grown. No, I mean, the only way that is correct is because there's now more content in the game. It's been the same thing since we talked about it during the freaking beta. Like, it's fucking PR bullshit. That balance of factors no longer justifies the original limitations on Covenant switching. So in 9.1.5, we're looking to provide a way to circumvent it. I'm really interested to see what the comments have to say here. Conduit energy, however, is a different story. The system simply has not played out the way we hoped it would. No shit. It was a stupid idea, stupid system from the get-go. A majority of players largely ignore the system and are unaffected by it, while the minority who want to engage in multiple content types competitively feel constrained by it. Or, people that just play all the specs and like to change specs every now and again just to change it up or because they want to make guides. Overall, that adds up to a negative experience. Conduit energy isn't really making the game better in any appreciable way, so we're removing the system entirely. Wow, good for you. It's like, hey guys, we stabbed you with a knife, and then we kind of realized that that's not really good, so we're going to pull the knife out, okay? We've come to realize that randomly stabbing people, it's just not making things better in any appreciable way. I told you, the negativity is just going to be here. As for the Covenant campaign skip for alts and the ability to freely swap Covenants on alts, that change is one outgrowth of many ongoing discussions within the development team focused on feedback that at times players feel that the WoW content they most enjoy is locked behind experiences that aren't nearly as appealing to them. Some of that feedback revolves around different playstyles or concept types, but a consistent theme is that experiences that were fun the first time through start to lose their luster on repeat playthrough on alts. Yeah, they definitely do, especially when required for power progression. So, just as the Threads of Fate system exists to allow players to skip the level up zone narrative on subsequent playthroughs, we want to give max level players a similar option to avoid having to replay a Covenant campaign they've already done. As the 9.1.5 PTR progresses, we hope to roll out several other changes aimed at giving you more flexibility in choosing how you prefer to adventure in Azeroth. We'll have more details to follow as we finalize our plans. Stay tuned, blah, 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 blah. Okay. This post was flagged by the community and temporarily hidden. The campaign skip for alts is appreciated, but no word on anything related to PvP. Who cares? Thank you, 6 pound, 8 ounce baby Jesus. All 49 of my alts. Are there any plans to be able to skip the Maw intro? Yes. Good changes, but man, it's exhausting waiting a year for these changes everyone knew were going to happen eventually. I actually was wondering if Blizzard was just going to be stubborn as shit and never make these changes. And this person is exactly right. It's exhausting waiting a year for them to fix stuff and implement stuff that seems so obvious. Like some things, I get it. If you have designed Torghast and you hadn't planned to have it available to use as a leveling method for alts, fine. That is something that it's like, oh, we didn't realize people would want to do this. Cool. And I'm sure a few people mentioned that throughout the beta and stuff like that, but it obviously wasn't a big talking point, right? That's something more for like alt nerds and roguelike nerds like myself, right? But stuff like the conduit energy system, the covenant swapping, like people were screaming about that repeatedly throughout the beta. And to press forward with that and to just now announce changes basically a year later, by the time 9.1.5 comes out, it'll probably have been a year, if not more, is just, it's absolutely exhausting. Way too late. These changes should have been released with 9.1. Couldn't figure out these changes in the time it took for 9.1 to come out. Now people can say sorry to Blizzard after all the bashing and thrashing. Nope, I'm not sorry. This is a panic move. Solid changes. Can you please, for the love of God, fix scaling and old content? My level 50 plus tunes hit like wet noodles in Legion content. I haven't even bothered trying Legion Rage yet because I know I can't put out the required DPS. Let's see. Pulled the ripcord. Glad to see it. Asmongold, Bellular, and Preach were right. You were wrong. And it wasn't just them. It was plenty of other people. It was small content creators like me. It was other big content creators as well. The worst part is you will double down on the next trash system you spew on players in 10.0 and stubbornly refuse to listen to feedback from your customers. I mean, there's a pattern that's pretty consistent of them doing that. We should have changed this a year ago. Yeah, okay. Good that you admit it, I guess. Game design lead producers doesn't care about the players. We both know that this was only a result of good old Bobby losing money. It's a business decision, not a oops, we messed up and we're going to be more understanding type of thing. Too little, too late. You've lost your player base trust. that you will listen to feedback and make changes within a reasonable time frame. A year to make these changes is absolutely unacceptable. Poster above me is right, which is the 10.0 system. This will 100% happen again. History repeats. So let's talk about that for a second, okay? I think that at this point, with everything that's been going on with World of Warcraft, it has to change. Something has to change. Literally, if they okay, there's going to be plenty of people that see these content updates and they go, whoa, World of Warcraft is everything I wanted. Well, they made great changes. You saw some of the comments, right? Oh, thanks for these changes. Awesome. I saw one that was like, I was never mad, Blizzard. Thank you. Heart. Right? There's going to be people like that. But people also know. People know what's going on now. I think Shadowlands was the straw that broke the camel's back, and it opened the eyes of the larger community to the issues that World of Warcraft has. And I honestly think that for 10.0, if they proceed in the normal fashion of, hey, it's a new expansion and everything, it's going to have to be radically different from everything that's come in the past couple expansions in terms of the focus of the expansion and systems specifically. I think that it's going to be system light. It's going to move away, focus more on talents and class customization at the base, at the core, as opposed to layering all these systems on top. I think they might even reach out to some of the content that they've had in previous expansions and try to carry that forward. I think it should probably be a lot more alt-friendly out the gate. They're going to have to make some pretty big changes to 10.0 in order to have the success that they've had on the past couple expansions, because it's not just going to be people like myself or Preach or Bellular or whoever who's going to see straight through what they're doing with 10.0 if it's anything like Shadowlands or the previous expansions. Like, the eyes of the wider populace are definitely open, I think, to the problems that lie in, and they've seen 100%. Like, Blizzard fucked up this time because there was such a vocal outcry against these systems, and they kept layering them. They kept being stubborn. You kept having Ian saying there is no ripcord and stuff like that, and just people having a fairly miserable experience until they finally change it. And that's the thing, is they do normally change it. But this time, the changes are just coming at a really bad time when they've also got all this lawsuit stuff going on, and it makes everything that they're doing here look less genuine. So, I don't know. Again, you guys let me know. What do you think of these changes? Are these changes excited? Are you still playing WoW? Does this make you want to go back to WoW? Is this, interesting and kind of exciting, but you're just as cynical as I am? Or, is it going to take a lot more from corporate Blizzard fixing everything that they have going on within their company for you to be involved in anything Blizzard in the future? I'm interested to know what you guys have to say, because, again, like I said, I'm pretty conflicted. At the end of the day, I don't have a really strong urge to go back to World of Warcraft, but I think had the lawsuit and everything not been going on, had this not taken so damn long, if they would have put in that Torghast leveling thing, I probably would have been back, playing World of Warcraft fairly regularly months ago. But at this point, I just don't know. I got a lot of other stuff going on. The switch to this new channel, I think, is going to be it's going to be big. It's going to be fun. And if the amount of negativity and cynicism that came out in this video wasn't proof that I should probably just stay away from World of Warcraft, then I don't know what else is. So I'm really looking forward to hopefully carrying some of you guys with me over to the new channel. Like I said, debut stream is planned for September 5th. I'm going to be making a promo video here on the channel, posting stuff up in Discord and everything for that. So I hope you guys are excited. It's going to be a good time. I've got a fun channel name, I think, and I wanted to move into that positivity and not dip my toes back into this negativity. But I haven't had a good solid rant video in a while. I wanted to make one, and man, this just put a fire in me. Like, why didn't you do this earlier? You know. So, anyway, you guys have fun. I'm gonna go try to take a nap before work, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Peace.